welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to do an update to the story I covered yesterday, which post title was, My Wife Just Asked for an Open Marriage. And guys, that as a quick recap, that's about the guy who, as you all recall, he's 29, his wife is 33. They got married 3 years ago when she was 30. Ding, ding, ding. And now after 3 years in the marriage, out of nowhere, she sat him down and said how she wants to have an open marriage. And because pretty much he can't fulfill her needs. She needs variety. And she can't do things with him that she wants to do with others. And as you can imagine, and you can understand, this guy was really deeply hurt by this, betrayed. And he is the typical nice guy who sees her as the queen, this great prize. He described himself as a 5 in the looks department, as her as a 12. And I went into this whole thing of the story and talked about and addressed him at the end, how, bro, you cannot be with her. Any woman that brings this up is either cheating or planning to cheat. How, if she truly loved you, she wouldn't do this. And do not buy into this whole, I've been keeping this inside, I'm coming out now as polyamorous. Bullshit. You're coming out as wanting to hook up with other people? Gee, pretty much all of us, married or single, would like to hook up other good-looking people, whether you're a man with women or women with men or whatever. But you don't do that because you find someone and you make a commitment and vows and you're not going to cheat on. So it's all bullshit. And she's BSing you completely. And all the tears and the waterworks and all that. And I said what I had to say. But now he's having an update here, getting more in-depth about things that he left out and more of these things. And it's unfortunately, he's buying into a lot of her nonsense here. So I'm going to go over this because a lot of you guys emailed me telling me there's an update to this. And I'm going to say my piece again, and hopefully we can help this guy out. But at the end of the day, you know, I have 3 channels I have. Been on YouTube for 4 years. And I got about 2,500 videos between all channels. I'm 46, been around the block, more than I mentioned. And you see patterns here. And these things always end badly. For a guy that wants monogamy, and a wife that wants to hook up with everything available, it doesn't end well. And I recommend that he ended with her, period. So his update, he says here, I want to write an update to my first post. There are a lot of things left out from my wife's side. Oh, here we go. Right there in the first sentence. Things she left out. You mean to try to justify her actions? My first post was mainly sharing my POV, point of view. But now that I had some time to digest and think about what my wife said last night, I'll try to convey my wife's position. The only position your wife wants to be, your wife's only position is she wants to be in lots of positions with dudes that are not you, dude. To be clear, neither of us did a good job executing what we wanted to say and effectively talking to each other, minus our raw emotions. Rereading my first post, I want to amend a few things I stated to clear up the confusion. But I also want to thank everyone who responded. I read a few and I appreciate all the input. Does he mean me? Something tells me that's not the case. First and foremost, my wife wasn't demanding or tried to coerce me into open marriage. Yes, she was. She may have not been demanding, but she was by bringing it up and her crying and everything. That was a form of coercion, trying to manipulate you. Nor was she forcing me to decide right now. Rather, it was her plea for help and her last-ditch effort to confront the pain and struggles she had most of her life. Pain and struggles? Isn't this the gal he said that to his knowledge, that she's been with 20 other dudes, had group SCX, 3-somethings with 2 other dudes, so you can probably imagine the logistics. 1 dude in the front, 1 dude in the back. You can do the math here. Struggling her whole life. She made it very clear her love for me and our marriage is more important than her request for an open marriage. Bullshit. Like I said before, she found her nice guy, knew he wasn't going anywhere, knew that he saw her as a great prize, got married, well invested, and then brought this up. The timing here, this happens all the time. There's countless stories like this all over the internet if you look. She also said, if I say no, never, the topic will never be brought up again, and she will focus on our marriage and love me no less. No, what she'll do is then just do things behind your back. That's how it works. Hearing her said that didn't make me feel much better at the time, but now with a clear head, because she wants to give head, It's clear to me she knew what she was asking and just knows the challenges we will face, especially for me. I just want to say I admire her courage. Smack! Dude, admire her courage to tell you she wants to go F other dudes. This is your wife, who you thought loved you and wanted to be with you and only you, in sickness and health, death you do you part. What else? What are the vows? Forsake all others, that type of thing. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be hurt. You're allowed to be betrayed, because that's what she's doing by bringing this up. Some of you pointed out that she may have already been cheating on me. There's an idea. Thinking back through our whole marriage, and for as long as I've known her, yes, there were plenty of opportunities for her. But in all that time, I never got a spidey sense. I never noticed anything out of place, an unusual moment, or behavior from her. No alarm bells were set off, so no, I don't believe she has ever cheated on me or there being a potential cheater. Bro, I wish that were true. I just don't buy it. Women can be extremely crafty at covering their tracks. How do I know? Because I've done 2,500 mother effing videos throughout the 3 channels of the 4 years showing that. Countless men all over the world writing in their stories telling me how well their wives or girlfriends have covered their tracks. Dude, if I was a betting man, I'd be willing to bet all the money I have right now in all my different accounts and investments and all the money I will make now to the day I die that something's been going on. You don't just go from being the Miss into the group SCX and all that to suddenly stopping it and, you know, come on here. And you said yourself, you see yourself as a 5. One of the things I want to add that I did not include in my first post. Why didn't she tell me this earlier, especially before we got married? Because she probably was fearful you'd say no, and then she'd turn 30 and not have a ring on her finger and feel like a loser, because a lot of women think that, which is dumb, but that's what they think. Or, you know, obviously you're a guy that's on the rise, which is cool, I might add. So, hope to bait and switch you. That happens, dude. I'm not going to give the reasons she gave me, because they were probably bullshit and we're all going to call it that. But I will say that I believe her, and that's good enough for me. I will say this, that she's been seeing a therapist before we met for an issue I'm aware of. Oh, so you got involved with a gal that's got some issues. That's called being a white knight. And what happens to white knights? They get slayed by the dragon. Well, I didn't know what she was working with her therapist for this issue as well. It was also the suggestion of the therapist to tell me when she was ready. Oh, the therapist told you and gave the clearance to tell you, her husband, that she wants to go F other dudes, because that's what it is. This is why I say when these guys want to go into talk about marriage counseling and therapy, often they go along with what the woman wants. I also want to address the issue of inadequacy that I may have come off in my first post. My wife has always said to me how I'm more emotionally and psychologically mature than her. Well, that's one thing I believe that your wife is saying. That's finally something that's come out of her mouth. I can't believe I'm saying things coming out of her mouth that I actually believe. Because you are more mature on many fronts than her. And on a wide range of situations, I carry confidence in a bucket like no other. I admit I wasn't that last night. Truth is, I don't know if I'm a 5. Only other women, not my wife or my mom, can rate me. When it comes to satisfying my wife and knowing if one other's needs are met, the issue has never been a concern between us. I know I'm satisfying my wife. If you were satisfying your wife, believe me, she wouldn't want to get satisfaction elsewhere. And how many guys out there think that they can satisfy their wives in the bedroom? Their girlfriends, their wives, when they probably go an entire relationship and never once giving her an orgasm. That's why the joke about women faking it comes into play. Right here, dude, I guarantee you're not satisfying her in the bedroom. What she needs is something different. Oh my God, are you justifying her actions? Smack! No, then why'd you get married? Last time my wife tried to tell me that she tried her best to not use that cliche. It's not you, it's me. We both fumbled on that. In this case, I do believe she's looking for an answer to a question she's struggling with. And that's why she came out to me. Came out as polyamorous. That's nonsense. Complete nonsense. And I got a lot of women that watch me, the whole 4% of you, that I've seen in the past and probably in this video will come out and say, that's nonsense. Because she needed answers. And she knows I'm the only one that can help her find it. In other words, she knows that she's banking that you will stay with her, not divorce her, and go let her do what she has to do because you're that bigger person, so secure in your marriage and manhood to let her go F other dudes. That type of manipulation. The last thing I want to touch on this was the start of our family. We both know helping her find the answers she needed with a family would bring unnecessary collateral damage, which is why she came out. She did not come out, dude. This is ridiculous. She did say numerous times last night she only wants to start a family with me and no one else. It still hurts being told that your wife wants to delay having a family. And I'm still fearful of the possibility we will never have a family together. We both logically it has to be done this way. Dude, if you go along with this, even if you have kids, you think she's going to stop, and then you're going to raise kids when their mom's out effing other dudes? Do you know how much that's going to screw up those kids, and they're going to know something's up? Come on here. I took the rest of the week off, and we'll see my wife later at home. From there, we'll talk some more. I'll give you an update, and please continue with any comment. It would be greatly appreciated. Well, I hope the comments that you don't like will be appreciated because somebody giving you feedback. Bro, as I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, number one, contrary to how I behave here on this channel, I'm here to help guys. But I'm very blunt, I'm very to the point, and I don't coddle, I don't hold hands, and I don't fucking sugarcoat. And I've been doing this a long time. Bro, have some self-respect. I know you don't want to go through a divorce. Who would? That's usually hell. And I know you want to believe who you think she is, as so many guys do. But she's not. This is not what you signed up for. You signed up for a monogamous relationship with a woman who you believe loved you, and you love her. I believe you love her, or at least what you think who she is. But she's telling you she wants to go F other dudes. You're not enough. That's it. That's grounds for the end of the relationship. You've only been married 4 years. End it now before it gets longer and you get hammered more in the divorce process. Didn't work out. Irreconcilable differences. And I'm willing to bet you, even though you may think she's never cheated on you, that if you did some digging, you'd find proof. At least you'd find some red flags, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So I encourage you to do your digging and do some homework here. But I don't want you to be hurt like this. You don't deserve this, as no other guy deserves this, okay? And if the situation was reversed, and you were bringing this up to her, wanting to have an open marriage, and she didn't want to, I wouldn't blame her. I would tell her to dump you. So it's not like I'm just some jerk that's favoring the guys all the time. If a woman said her husband said this, I'd say the same thing to her. So, bro, really think this through. Really take people's comments, especially mine, into consideration here. And I might add, if you happen to see this video, because I know somebody mentioned me in the comment section, and you're not happy I'm doing this video, well, you must understand, you posted your story on Reddit for the world to see, and people on YouTube and other channels take these things to comment on and so forth. So you put yourself out there. And I'm not doing this to be an a-hole. I'm doing this to help in my way of doing things. You need my channel. You need help from guys like me that can tell you reality. And typically, guys that aren't aware of things like open marriages and polyamory and are shocked to learn these things about their wives or girlfriends or women in general, they don't like guys like me because they see me as big giant assholes. And, well, I am an asshole, but I'm an asshole that means well and can certainly be your friend helping you. Okay? Yeah, I'm an asshole. And I got no problem with that. But then again, if a woman says you're an asshole, you're doing something right. So I got a whole community of assholes, but good-hearted assholes. But anyhow, bro, please think about this. You deserve better. I'm sure you're a great guy, just not even inexperienced. And you got your whole life ahead of you, but you don't deserve this. And guess what? You work on yourself. You move up in the world, get your shit together. You can find somebody better who you deserve. You deserve a gal that cares about you and truly loves you. And wouldn't want any other guy. That's what you deserve. But real quick, I'm going to read some comments here. I always like to end these things with comments. One guy says here, OP, I suggest you visit SSM. There you go in the comments. That's me. It's a man's channel. I would suggest your wife gives her therapist permission to talk to you about her issues or you have there for the session. Everyone is different, and depending on what her issue is and how they are progressing and handling them will be a key factor in the decision process. In my opinion, since you started the relationship as monogamous and married with that intent, trying to open it up is extremely risky and probably will fail. Both of you need to decide what you want from the relationship and decide if the other person can and will meet those needs and desires. If one person wants a poly relationship and the other wants monogamy, it will not work. All right. It sounds like your wife's needs to share with you and what she's dealing with, and you need to decide if that is something you can deal with. For myself, I'm a widower. If my significant other asks for an open relationship, I know I will not tolerate it, but that is me. And that is any other self-respecting man or woman, depending on who asked. Now the guy says here, if this post is, if it's a real post, then dude, you're going to get hurt. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen these types of stories in my field of work, and it is 90% always bad. And last one, and this guy's really to the point. It says, at this point, all signs point to that the guy will just let his wife do whatever she wants to fulfill her needs. If that ends up being the case, he will get exactly what he deserves. He's obviously a guy who has low self-esteem and doesn't think he deserves someone who loves and values him. He'll just put up with it, live in pain, and otherwise brag to his friends and coworkers about his trophy 12 of a wife. And very blunt, very to the point, that's what's going to happen. So bro, if you stay with her and she does this, it is going to rip your heart out. Your love, your wife, being plowed by other dudes. Come on, you know it's wrong. Your gut's been telling you it's wrong. So don't go along with this, man. Seriously. Talk to somebody you can absolutely trust, as embarrassing as this may be, but also is not a bonehead. And I'm sure that person will tell you, don't go along with this. But if you do go along with this, and you have your heart stomped on, ripped out, you got no one to blame but yourself. She's an a-hole, don't get me wrong, and she's selfish, and all the waterworks and tears and her agony, that's a big show. Guess, newsflash, women can be great actresses and liars and manipulators. I'm not saying all are going to do this intentionally, but they're capable of it if necessary. And what you described to her in your last story and here now tells me everything I need to know. And again, when you do these types of things, 2,500 videos worth, like I have in 3 channels, you pick up on patterns. And again, I'm 46. I've been around the block, and I've seen plenty of things in person and experienced much. And that's why I believe I've done well on YouTube, because people hear these stories, and I speak common sense. So I wish you the best, bro. Please don't disappoint us. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let this guy know what you think. Please reinforce what you did yesterday to don't let him go along with this. And guys, you find a good story like to share, definitely email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will when I get the chance. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.